You can restart that, can't you? Okay, ready. Okay, so we're gonna bring the meeting to order at 7:32. Do a roll call. Pledge allegiance. Oh, call order. Okay, yeah, pledge allegiance. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now roll call.
Galecki?
Here.
Patterson? Here. Smith?
Here.
Sledge?
Here.
Shoemaker? Absent. Conan? Absent. Henderson? Here.
Actually, I'll let you write that part on there. Whoever you want to write it, if you write it as excuse or whatever.
Okay, so any thoughts on the agenda? Can we approve as presented?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved. Okay. Minutes from February 2011 meeting. We had 3 pages of minutes.
Yeah, it was long.
You guys were pretty worried that day.
Yeah. Those fingers were flying on those keys.
Yeah.
February 11th meeting, not February 2011.
Yes.
Okay.
So in these minutes, we have the planning commission minutes and the DDA. So, but we just need one approval.
Yeah, I already read all this, so. Any problems with anybody?
No?
I move that the minutes be approved as presented.
Second?
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good job, Becky.
Okay.
One of these days we can find a mistake.
I'm sure you did.
Okay, so site plan application for Vinegar Foods. So I talked to Mr. Vinegar about a week ago, and he said he was going to be present at this meeting. So let's just kind of move on to number 7, the amending zoning ordinance for packaged liquor stores. So has everybody got their
Yeah.
sheets from
McKenna?
McKenna?
Yes.
So the first page shows what our current ordinance reads, and they're just stating to delete that. So, but then if you go to the state ordinance, then the state ordinance is the same thing as what we're deleting. Mhm.
Oh, if you go to what, because that's where it came from. That's what
Right.
the original recommendation came from.
Yeah.
You're talking about the proposed zoning amendments they got in here?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
th-
exactly-
so their proposed zoning amendment is just to delete section
Yeah,
6.50.
so they're just gone.
And if we do that, then it would just fall upon the liquor commission.
Yeah. Now, do we have to rewrite that with this information in here with the quotas and all that stuff? No?
Mhm.
It's just you eliminate it and it doesn't exist? and-
Correct, yep,
Okay.
Because these are the rules that they're going to have to follow then regardless.
correct.
Yeah.
And we can't do anything tonight, this is just a review.
Okay.
Because the only thing we're gonna do tonight, because this is a zoning amendment, so we have to set a public hearing tonight.
Okay.
So after the public hearing, then we could adopt this. But tonight it's just, do we agree and do we want to proceed?
And now the special meeting would be probably our regular meeting or something?
Our regular meeting, correct, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It'll just be a notified, it'll be a public hearing, so it'll be a notice sent out.
Okay.
So it'd be similar to the special approval land use meeting. So we'll go into the public hearing, get public comments, and then go out of public hearing, and then go into a regular session. And either discuss it and vote on it or what have you.
Okay,
And Laura will be at our next meeting.
good. I wish you would have been at the last one.
She was.
She was at the
Oh,
last.
I
I
was
was saying, that's what I was saying, that's what I was saying, hold on, what was, yeah. what-
Oh, Laura's gonna, how come Amy's not showing up for this?
Well, if you kind of look at this memorandum that we got,
Yeah,
it's from Amy Neary, senior principal
oh,
planner.
so she's big time now, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah. So now we're gonna have Laura
yeah.
as our.
So Amy will still be the one pulling the shots, but I've met Laura years ago. So she's kind of been in the background of our stuff for quite a while.
Yeah, okay.
It's not unusual for them changing time anyways, every so many
Sure.
years anyway, so.
Yep. Natural progression.
So, basically all we're gonna do is, discuss and, is this something we should vote on or we could vote
The
on?
only, the only thing we're gonna vote on is going to the public
Public
hearing.
hearing, yeah.
Okay.
So, really, it's pretty
Well-
simple. Do we want to delete the section, or do you want to rewrite it?
Do we have any idea how many, does anybody else do this? I mean, does this exist? I
Well,
mean, like, does
it didn't,
Memphis or K-Pac
it
or
didn't
somebody?
exist in our old ordinance.
Okay,
So, the new ordinance, so the 2002, 2003 ordinance, because it was written into, adopted January 2003.
okay,
So that's where this came from, and then it mirrored, so they just, when they wrote the ordinance, McKenna probably just took the state ordinance and put it into our thing, and nobody probably caught it.
yeah.
If they would've caught it, they would've said, ooh, that doesn't fit Armada.
So you don't think this was brought up by the planning commission here in Armada, that we should have some sort of ordinance to control that? You think
No.
McKenna just?
No, I think it was just,
I agree. You were at the end of that when it was coming up, and then I started when this was taking place. And there was never a discussion regarding
no,
that level of detail. And as you said, is where the most of these came from were from from other communities, and most likely, well, in most cases, larger communities. Where
Yeah.
they piecemealed it in. And
Yeah, especially with 1,000 feet, that just makes no sense at all. And
well, because everything's within 1,000 feet.
I know.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
We
you know,
have,
we don't even have a square mile.
yeah, yeah. Way too small for that ordinance.
Yeah.
Personally, I'd like to see this. I don't think that ordinance should have been put in the first place, but,
I agree, and I don't think it was done in any malice. I just think that it was one of the things that slipped through the crack.
yeah.
McKenna said this is a blanket thing that usually goes in the ordinance, this is kind of mirrors the state, and we will put it in,
Yeah.
and there probably wasn't even any discussion on it.
Yeah, it's just kind of like fill in the blank. You know, they
exactly.
filled in the blank.
Yeah. Mhm. I don't know if that's true, but that's what I
Yeah,
think.
that makes sense when
Yeah.
you're going compiling it.
No. Because even though you read it, when you're going through it to approve it, you miss stuff,
Yeah,
you know, I mean, you and I wrote the sign ordinance,
yeah,
and we still
still
miss
miss
stuff,
stuff,
you
yeah,
know? I mean, we're not professionals,
yeah. Yeah, we spent some time on that too.
we sure did.
Yeah. I hate that when that happens. So somebody says, well,
well,
what
that one would
about?
have slipped one through anyways, only because the fact we'd have the first question would have been is where did it come from? It's from the states, when you know that you can be more restrictive but never less restrictive. So
Correct. Yep.
you had to let it go in the first place, and without having to go deeper and realize, well, okay, the states even has ways to help out, and
Sure.
and really the focus is not so much on the beer, it's the liquor and the what they call it mixed spirit drinks,
Yeah,
is where they then drive in the differences. So
yeah, and that's that SDD license, you have to get the churches and schools to agree to it, so that's a lot more restrictive. It's more restrictive really than probably most
Mhm.
ordinances are, so. And it says that Armada has one license that's currently authorized. Do we know where that license is?
Well, it's, okay, that's under this ordinance. So that doesn't mean that when everything else was approved, this ordinance stood. So everything has been approved because it's in existence. So the new ordinance is different than the old ordinance, just like the Ezo property, and he can't be within 500 feet of a residence. But the old ordinance said 30 feet.
Oh, is that right?
Correct.
Wow.
And the old ordinance said industrial and commercial could build right on a lot line. The new ordinance says you need setbacks.
Okay. But this ordinance here, this SDD, isn't that the state?
That's the states.
So the state is saying that we're allowed one because our population's below 3,000, and that we currently have one,
Correct.
so we can't add one. But where is that one?
That one is in escrow. It's the one that was in Cordy's.
That's Cordy.
It's a bank escrow?
No, well, they say it's an escrow when it's up for sale.
Oh, it's up for sale.
It's not an active license, it's not currently being
Do we know who's holding it?
Cordy's,
Cordy's is still holding it?
yes,
Oh, they didn't sell it?
no,
So they sold the beer and wine, but not the booze?
they didn't sell it.
Didn't sell any of it, I heard
They
that
did
too,
not
I
sell
was
any.
surprised, I thought. it
Oh,
was
that's
already
because
done.
it wasn't part of the,
Correct,
okay.
So that's separate from real estate.
correct,
So it's more like a
It's an
personal
asset.
property or
Correct.
something. Okay.
correct.
But now, correct me if I'm wrong, but talking to you, Joe, when we talked about this earlier, even though there's not a license available in Armada,
Oh, yeah.
you can go to anywheres in the county
In the county,
and bring it in.
A transfer license.
You can transfer a license into the area. So even though there's only X amount of license available for Armada, you can get another license and bring it into
Correct.
Armada,
Okay.
as long as it's within the county. I think you still have to get liquor board approval,
correct.
but you don't have to buy the license that's available. You can
Correct.
circumvent that and buy it from somebody
I
else.
don't think you necessarily have to get the commission approval, you have to register it in its new
No,
location.
you have
But
to
the
be
license
approved.
itself has already gotten approved.
No, you have to be approved to purchase a liquor license.
Cozy had, because they're under the old, they were original.
Not,
They
just
don't
no,
have an
anybody
SDD.
cannot buy liquor license.
There must be some way that they can find out the available liquor licenses in the county, then
Sure.
go to the
Yeah.
county.
I can, you don't have to, you can go online and do it.
Can you?
Yeah.
Yeah, see what's available.
Yep, I can tell you how many are, if I went there, how
Yeah.
many are in escrow and who owns them.
Yeah, they don't sell liquor.
And escrow doesn't mean that, it just mean that it's for sale.
Yeah.
When it goes into escrow, it's because it's inactive and they're not paying the annual fees that are associated with it.
So
So
will
it
they
sits in
leave it
escrow.
eventually?
No,
No,
as long as they leave it in escrow and it stays in a valid escrow,
Okay,
then when they want to activate it, then they have to pay the fees.
okay.
Oh, okay.
So then even if we don't do anything with this, the police department still does. So to get a liquor license, they have to meet all the local planning and zoning requirements and ordinances, but then they also have to, they apply to the local police department, and the police department fills in a form, and that goes into the state liquor control prior to them getting approved.
They have to do some kind of background check or something?
I don't know what the village police department would do, I just know that that happens.
Okay. Okay. And then it says in here that it goes to the approved business, so in the case of the party store, that would be the owner of the party store, not the people that are leasing it, right?
Yeah, you have to have an approved business to get the liquor license.
So, his name's Sam or something?
Sam owns the building.
He owns the building, so
Sal.
does the license go to him? Or does it
No,
go?
it's actually the gentleman that runs part of
Mike?
the store, is the
Mike,
one
yeah, Mike.
that has
Yeah,
applied
that
for
was it, sorry.
the beer and wine license.
Yeah.
Alright,
Yeah, he's the owner of the business with an approved business.
okay.
Right.
And he's
Okay.
got the personal qualifications, including a background check being done. That's why I read that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
I am too.
like
Yeah, I
it.
am too, I don't see,
It does the good separate between the two that we probably should have had anywhere between the liquor, the beer and wine, and if it's whatever the state has it.
Yeah.
and that's a pretty simple way of doing it, is just dropping it, just
Yeah.
eliminating it.
And
you know.
quite
I mean,
frankly,
'cause-
the second one's gonna be more challenging, the SDD is gonna be more challenging.
Yeah, anything we're gonna throw at them anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you can't have anything within 1,000 feet. You can't have one store selling in another store within 1,000 feet. Well, everything's within 1,000 feet. The
Yeah.
schools, the churches,
Yeah,
you know.
my
I don't know
house,
about- How about the school?
all our houses.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so.
All right, so what's the vote, we're going to set a hearing for,
Well, let's,
To move
before we
this,
do the
or-
hearing, does everybody agree on that?
yeah.
Dave?
Christie? What
Madam
say they?
Secretary?
Yeah.
Well, do you have comments? Now's the time to bring them up.
No, I'm still just kind of considering a few things, but I
Well,
think
bring
going
'em up.
ahead with the public, right now, I'm just not ready to. So I think going ahead with the public hearing would be fine.
Okay, cool. All right, well, how about a motion to set the public hearing for April, what?
6th
April 6th.
at 7:45.
So, 7:45.
April 6th,
Correct.
Yeah.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Okay, public comments? Chair report? I really didn't have anything.
Reading the book.
Oh, yeah, okay, chair report. Okay, ordinance book. Anybody read the ordinance book?
Read it?
Yeah, we're supposed to be reading. We're supposed to be reading.
I read it all the time, see all my markers?
Yeah,
But I haven't like started from the beginning and worked my
well, actually, we're
markers.
supposed to start at the end
Right.
and then go to the beginning.
Go backwards,
Yeah,
back.
there's a section that says how to redo your zoning ordinance, how to amend. So we were gonna read that first and then go back to the front.
Start with Article 26.
So what is it?
Okay, start with 26.
Yeah, start with Article 26. So Article 26,
Okay, I promise I'll read that. And then start at the beginning?
yeah.
Did you say we wanted to be through 3? Or have 3 on the
Do you want us to just read it or do you want us to know what we read?
Well, touche. So what we're looking for is things that are inconsistencies. So yeah,
Okay.
you gotta read, you gotta think about what you're doing. And then look at not only inconsistencies, but things that maybe we wanna change.
Okay.
So, I was kind of hoping that we would do 3 sections a month, but since nobody's really done it so far, how about we do 2 sections? So we'll just start with that. And then, so then you bring any comments that you have to the meeting.
Okay.
So, again, the meeting that was, where the heck was that in Flint? Where'd we go? Roll,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
I specifically asked them if we really needed to have all the peripheral data. And they said, yes, but he said, planners like to put all that in. I said, well, sure they do, because that's a lot of money. And so, well, because it actually is a third of the zoning ordinance.
Yeah.
And the master plan, it's like almost half. So, so I guess I'm getting confused. So that's master plan, it's not really in the zoning ordinance. So it's that data that we really don't have to do.
So you want us to do Article 26 and Article 1 and then
Okay.
discuss it at the next meeting?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. So that'll be real easy, because 26 is only 2 pages.
I'd say, but even number 1, I was thinking, we don't start even getting into, what is it, section 4 by the time you start.
Yeah, really, 1 isn't, there's nothing there.
Okay.
Sorry, that's what is section, yeah.
So that's just the
Article 4,
introduction.
I mean, I'm almost thinking we can get all the way to Article, and I won't read this time, go to Article 4. There's land use tables, then you start getting into something more, the
You
first
want-
ones are more just administrative.
You want us to
nature.
read 26, 1, 2, 3, and 4?
Yeah.
No, 1, 2, and 3.
1, 2, and 3.
Well, okay,
And three
Does everybody agree?
Yeah, don't let him talk you into going further than you want to go. He's the chairman.
And three doesn't have any.
Unless he wants to go past
Well,
three.
three is, and three's reserved, it's empty.
Yeah, three is nothing, there's nothing there.
So
and-
we can comment on that page.
And Chris is right, there's really nothing, so let's do that.
Do Article 26 and
1, 2, and 3. And this is 3.
I'll read that one first.
Yeah.
Okay, good. We'll
I don't
go
even
over
need
that.
my glasses to read that one.
This is a good way of doing it, because then you're gonna actually catch this stuff, you know?
Well, and then there's gonna be times when we're probably only gonna wanna do one.
Yeah,
Where, because when we do the tables, we should really flip back and forth. And some of the times when you get into this, we need to be flipping back and forth. And I want to do the definitions. We've never really done definitions. So,
25.
okay, so anything else?
no,
Okay, a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
beautiful.
Who seconded that?